All right, what's going on, you guys? It's BoxingWave here, and let's talk Shawn Porter, Errol Spence, official, finally official. Contracts have been signed by both camps. The fight is going down sometime in September, from what we heard, and all we got left is a fight. This is not a breakdown video, okay? I will do an updated video on how the fight is going to go. I've done a video before, okay, maybe earlier this year or maybe late last year. But I will do an updated breakdown of the fight. Okay, this is not that here. You know, anything that I say in this video might actually not even matter at all. Okay, these are just some observations that I've had, some things that I noticed between the two. Okay, um, if you guys been around the last couple years here, I made a video a while ago, 2017. Okay, this is around the time after Danny Garcia lost to Keith Thurman. Okay, this is after Shawn Porter beat Andre Berto. This is after Errol Spence beat Kell Brook. All right. So at this point, at this time, Keith Thurman, unified champion. All right, but he takes a break. He is now injured. We don't see him fight again for 2 years. All right, so this is before all of this. All right, Keith Thurman is holding the WBC and the WBA title. All right. Errol Spence is now holding the IBF title. All right. He beats Kell Brook. All right. Um, I made a video a couple years back and I said I called Shawn Porter out. Shawn Porter didn't have any fights scheduled. Errol Spence was looking for an opponent. You know, this was around the time Errol was a lot more humble than what he is today. Errol was looking to have a fight back at home. That's what he wanted. After beating Kell Brook, he wanted to have a showcase fight or a fight back home. Okay? But at this time, he was calling everyone out. Terrence Crawford wasn't a champion yet. All right? He wanted to fight everyone at welterweight. He was willing to fight Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter, whoever. Whoever was on top at that time, he was willing to fight. We also know that Manny Pacquiao did lose to Jeff Horn that same year. All right, so Errol Spence, he's on the come up. He got a title now, and he was looking for an opponent. And I remember Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter was putting the pressure on Danny Garcia, who had just lost to Keith Thurman. Okay, he was making these funny videos on the internet. He was basically calling him out and keeping the pressure on Danny specifically. He was doing the same with Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman was talking about injuries and didn't know at the time when he would come back. You know, Keith Thurman was a big question mark on Keith Thurman. We saw that. We see now that he went out for 2 years. So Shawn Porter, he's coming off. I mean, at this point, he did lose. He did lose to Keith Thurman and Kell Brook, you know, but he picked up some good wins, and he had stopped Andre Berto. Now, at this time, Shawn Porter was trying to be like best friends with Errol Spence Jr. I mean, you would see interviews on Fight Hype, and Errol and Shawn would be right there while Errol was doing interviews. Shawn would be right by his side, like that was his bro. That's what Shawn Porter was doing. Even though Errol was willing to fight him, Shawn was not willing to fight Errol. All right? He was trying to be the friend, the buddy. Okay? We're too cool to fight. This is the Shawn Porter from just 2 years ago. Errol had a title. He had a title. He didn't have an opponent at this time. This was before Lamont Peterson. This is before Mikey Garcia. This is before Ocampo. Okay? In Dallas Stadium. This is before all that. And I made a video saying Shawn Porter should fight Errol Spence right now. Okay? This is 3 fights ago. All right? Shawn Porter should have jumped on the opportunity then, because it was a title shot and he was fighting someone that at that time I felt was going to keep improving and probably be even harder to beat later. All right. So I said Shawn Porter should jump on the opportunity. This guy has his old title, the IBF. He should be fighting Errol Spence Jr. Shawn didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. He wanted to be, this new wave of fighters right now where everybody's bros and stuff. We two bros and we doing interviews together. That made me feel like Shawn was fearful. Why are you going after Danny Garcia? He doesn't hold the title. Why do you want to fight him so bad? Why do you want to fight him? He just lost to Keith Thurman. Now he ended up fighting Danny Garcia and then beating him. Okay? He ended up winning that fight. All right? Good win, good resume. I mean, Danny has a good resume, even with the loss of Keith Thurman, Danny's always a good fighter to fight. All right? But it's funny because even when it came to Danny Garcia, when Danny lost to Keith, he was chilling. He was kind of low key for a while. You take your first loss and you kind of lay low for a little bit. That's cool. But I remember specifically when Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao. All right? And he was a new champion, the WBO champion. Danny Garcia was the first one to call out Jeff Horn. He was the first one to do it. Saw it right on Twitter. I saw it I remember that. Everybody wanted Jeff Horn. But Errol was right there, and he's a PBC guy. This is why I don't buy that other side of the street bullshit. I don't buy that because any of these fights can happen. At any given time, these fights can be made. Or that other side of the street bullshit, that's bullshit. All right? So, going into this fight, I'm glad that Shawn signed his part of the contract and everything. But at the end of the day, he really doesn't have many options out there. All right? There's Terrence Crawford on the other side of the street, that none of the PBC fighters want to fight right now. Okay? None of them want Terrence Crawford. Even Pacquiao was over there and he didn't want to fight Terrence Crawford. He left. All right? Not because of Terrence Crawford, but he's not on that side anymore. Pacquiao doesn't want it. Errol has already said to Terrence's face that he wants to clean up the PBC side first. So, I mean, look, Shawn Porter is he's kind of cornered at this point. Plus, Errol has grown bigger. He has a bigger name. He's selling a lot of tickets in Dallas Stadium with Mikey Garcia. That was a big fight. It was a big fight. I thought it was a mismatch, but as far as names, that was a big fight. A lot of people was in there. Over 30,000 people was in that stadium. That's good. And they did solid pay-per-view. So Shawn at this point is like, well, I might as well fight him now because Errol's got a bigger name than me. And he holds the title. Shawn can become unified. But do I think Shawn really wants to fight? Not really. He's proven to me that he really doesn't want to fight like that. Because he had opportunities after opportunities to fight Errol. Errol was ready to take that fight even before he won the title. He was always willing to fight Shawn, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. He was always willing to fight those guys. So me, from a mental standpoint, I give Errol the slight edge. But Errol's changed over the last couple years. He's not as humble as he used to be. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I hope he's not overconfident. He told Terrence Crawford, "Why fight you when I could just take the easy route and knock out Shawn Porter?" He said it so casually, like that's not Shawn Porter. Like it's an easy fight. Like he said it was. He said it was easy. It would be easy. He said it more than once. He said it in a way where he shrugs it off, doesn't think it's a tough fight. Now, there's nothing wrong with being confident at all. I mean, if he feels he can beat Shawn Porter, no problem, then that's cool. But I am worried about him thinking that this is just going to be an easy fight. I hope Errol prepares for this fight as much as he would any other fight, like Kell Brook fight or any fight before that. You know, even a Mikey Garcia fight. Whatever fight he's been in, I hope he prepares for it just as much, if not more. Because Shawn Porter is probably, there's a good chance Shawn Porter might be his toughest opponent. And I already know Kell Brooks beat Shawn Porter, but I know Styles, come on, we know Styles make fights. Shawn Porter might possibly be the tougher opponent for Errol. Because Shawn Porter brings things that Kell Brook didn't. Just like Kell Brook brought things that Shawn Porter did. So I'm a little worried about Errol. You know, he does seem to blow up a little bit when he's not fighting, when he's not training. You know, we see him at fights drinking and stuff. I don't think anything is wrong with that. Like, I never was the guy here that would bash Errol for his behavior out of the ring. You know, I brought it up, but listen, as long as you're training, I mean, it's still just June. Just understand that it's still a couple of months. He has plenty of time. He has more than enough time to get back. He has all of July. He has all of August. He has September. He has plenty of time to train. He has a minimum of 8 weeks to prepare for this fight. A minimum. He actually has like 10 weeks, depending on when they schedule the fight. So I think Spence will be ready. I think he'll be just fine. I'm just bringing stuff up there. Do I believe that Shawn Porter was at one point pretty fearful of fighting Errol Spence and was ducking him in a way? Yes. Because I called him out on here. Right here on this channel. But at the same time, I do believe that Errol may be overconfident. And I hope he's not. I hope he's not. I hope he's preparing for this fight as if this is going to be the toughest fight in his career. He should prepare, especially with Shawn Porter, but he should prepare that way with every fight that comes from this point on. It's not going to be any easy fights. Okay? Unless you have some mismatches with Mikey, but even that, you don't know. Even though some of us had predicted it to be a mismatch, you still don't know how the fight is going to go because Mikey is a very good boxer. He's just a smaller guy, you know. But that's just my thoughts on the fight, man. Um, I will do a breakdown at some point, but I hope these guys are ready because even though, and I said that Errol, even though he has plenty of time to train, you gotta understand he is fighting a guy that doesn't drink, and that's always in the gym and that's always in shape. He has great conditioning. Shawn Porter is not a guy that you could really wear down like that. He's going to bring you a full Shawn Porter for 12 whole rounds. So Errol gotta understand that if he's just a little bit off that day, okay, if he just took this fight just a little bit, a tad bit lightly, if he's not 100%, but he's 80%, that little bit can throw off the fight. Now I have Errol winning the fight. I think Errol's gonna win this fight. All right, I've said it before, so You know, it is what it is. I think Errol got this. But if Errol is not on his A game, he will lose this fight without doubt. Because Shawn, he brings quickness. He has hand speed. I'll get into all of that. I'll get into all that in another video. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to bring up these key points. You know, I know a lot of people don't really remember this, but you know, a couple years ago, Shawn Porter was being a little too close to Errol Spence, a guy that was I a I a direct opponent, another top welterweights, you know, and that made me feel away because I'm like, Shawn, you know, it's not like Errol was always hanging around in your camp all these years, you know. It's just weird that you're just jumping in every Errol interview. It made me feel kind of way, but at the same time, I hope Errol is not overconfident because he kind of comes off that way sometimes in these interviews. Now, okay, not before, but now. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.